Hey, if you're hearing me now, it's because you are watching Third Space Indy on YouTube. I just wanted to let you know that there is no video this week because when I recorded the interview with Tony, I recorded the whole video in slow motion. So the video ended up being 3 hours long, killed my phone battery, and also completely filled up my phone's storage space. So I just went ahead and deleted it. So there is no video. So I've just put on a little waveform overlay and subtitles of the speakers. So if you do watch, that's all you'll see. But otherwise, there is only audio. So the screen is black intentionally. Thanks so much for listening. And thank you for listening. Like I said, wait, did I say thank you for listening twice? I don't know. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Tony. He is an amazing, amazing guest. Have a great day.
You asked why I kept doing it, and it was that first practice on April Fool's Day. It's like, wow, this is great. Like, why isn't this normal? Why isn't this how it always is? And it was just an experiment. ICY is still an experiment. It's a practice and it's an experiment. It's not conforming to a particular thing. And one honest answer is it was what I needed. I needed a place where I could go and just be myself. And it's been very clear over the years that other people like that also, and other people find that nourishing. Morning practice for me, it's like breakfast for my soul.
They've got you boxed in. Old habit, you draw the curtain. Lonely only if they ever leave. Do you feel free?
Hello, my name is Michael Zarick. This is Third Space Indy. This is a podcast where we talk to community builders, leaders, and organizers. And today, I think, a practicer. And today, I'm talking to Tony
Wiederhold.
Tony Wiederhold, who is, I don't know what the proper term is ever, but somebody who partakes in Indianapolis Community Yoga, the main progenitor of it, maybe.
Indy Community Yoga.
Indy Community Yoga. And just a quick background about how I learned about Tony is when I released my very first episode, I received a mysterious email from someone named Andra, I think. Andra. And they were like, you should go talk to Tony of ICY and this other guy who actually will be on later on. And I reached out to you through the website by your email. And you said, hey, let's do a call. And I have never had an hour-long introduction email or introduction phone call with somebody that was more pleasant than the hour-long call that we shared months and months ago.
How sweet.
So yeah, that, and then I just you were this ethereal person. I had no idea what you looked like or anything. And I just would be like, oh man, that call with Tony was so great. I used to say that so much to my wife. But anyways, since then, I've since attended a yoga practice. But before I talk too much, Tony, how are you doing?
Doing very well.
Yeah,
Yeah, what a day.
It is
for a better day.
It is a quite nice day. So to start off, can you tell me and the listeners a little bit about ICY and maybe a little bit about yourself as well?
Yeah. What is Indy Community Yoga? Well, we're worker-run cooperative, and we have lots of meditation practices, movement practices, but mainly we're a place where people can come and just be themselves. I think maybe everybody who's listening is aware of how often you have to mask or pretend to be what somebody else wants you to be. And what we are is a place where, one, there's no cost to attend our practices. But two, you can just be with other people and learn who you are. So, yeah.
And then I'll tell a little bit about why our original phone call was so important to me. But first, I'd like to ask you a question, which is, and I'm interested to see how you take this, but who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you? Tony?
Oh, wow. Wow. What an enormous question that I don't really know how to answer. I think I'm trying to figure that out myself a lot of the times. I mean, right now, my role on Earth and in this village is I'm just trying to be a caring person, like really a human. And, in a broad sense, I feel like that means somebody who is amongst other people and kind of a conduit for care. So, right now I spend a lot of my time caring for my mother. Her 85th birthday is on Monday.
Oh, this coming Monday?
This coming Monday
Let's
is
go.
her 85th birthday.
Happy birthday to, what's their name?
Two. Yeah.
Two?
Yeah, two. Yeah. Yeah, and she has advanced dementia, and I'm her primary caregiver. And so, she's also my teacher in many, many ways. And I realize from taking care of her how much she has taught me throughout my life. Really Buddhist things throughout my life, but transmitted through culture and language. Mm-hmm. The way she talks about, the way she was honest about, the way she felt about a lot of things. So, that's, identity through action. Yeah, I don't know who else I am.
No, that was a great answer. No. I knew you would have an interesting angle. But also, I think everyone who answers that question has an interesting angle. Yeah. So, I don't remember the day, but months and months ago, we had a phone call, and there's the common turn of phrase that you don't remember when you first meet someone, you don't remember what was said, but you remember how they made you feel. Mm. And that's sort of what I think about in relation to our original phone call, because I just felt after, it was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, that I felt so deeply connected to you in in just an odd way. Like, you said so many things that I was just said, yes, Tony gets it. And I was so inspired, and I'm so happy that you're here in this moment with me right now to share a conversation. But you talked about your old job with Eli Lilly and how soul-sucking that was. And you talked about the importance of offering free spaces for people, and the longest running queer yoga practice in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the country?
As far as we could find, but...
What's the designator? The size, or the state, or the...
I mean, if you look around and Google, queer yoga, mm-hmm. It's very difficult to find in-person queer yoga. Actually, a second one, there was another one here in town that started sometime after we started ours, and recently there's been another one that's popped up. Mm-hmm. And I think that's wonderful that that's happened. I forgot what your
no, just more. There's no specific question. Just sort of reflection on our original conversation. We talked about what it means to be religious.
Yeah.
Because you brought up that you're a Buddhist, and I thought that was really interesting as someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with that.
Yeah.
And just you captured me so deeply in that time. So I was so happy to I was so happy to exist in the same city as you, because you seemed so like an attainable person. Oh my God,
thanks.
Tony's here.
It's a delight to be with you too, Michael.
And I have since attended, and I would like you to share why it's called this, but I've since attended a practice 2 times, maybe 3, I don't remember. And I plan to come to more. And of course, they are all free. So could you share with people maybe one, why they're called a practice, because I don't think most people know, because this was not something I knew before talking to you the first time. And then maybe a little bit about what you do during it, because when I say yoga, along with saying practice, people have a certain image in their mind of what you do, but I think it's maybe a little different.
Yeah. So why do we say practice? It's practice rather than class. And the reason for that is we have a philosophy that we're practicing with you. We're practicing with each other. We're not teaching to. And that has to do with power, really. And if you look around our current place in time, power dynamic, there are always hierarchies. There's always a boss, which is sort of interesting to consider. We're living in a place that calls itself a democracy. But where does democracy actually live in our lives? Is it at home? Is it at work? I mean, certainly in my previous workplace, that was not a democracy. And I don't know how many people's workplaces are actually democracies. And of course, there's, politics as it is. But so we really, in a lot of ways, try to cut the knees out from bosses and bossing. And that includes the power dynamic of a teacher who is exalted and has special knowledge that makes them superior to a student. So that's why we say practicing with. We're all on the same level. We're all practicing together.
Yeah. And then what are you doing at the practice as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're speaking of the Sunday movement and meditation for...
Are they different? Actually, really, I've only been to that, so I really don't know.
Yeah, so movement and meditation for collective liberation is, it's a 3-part practice. And the first part is a movement practice where in that particular practice, it's Qigong. We like to do accessible movement practices that a lot of people with different abilities can do. And then we have our seated meditation component. And then after that, mindful dialogue. Sort of the through line to all this is practicing no pretending. There's nothing to achieve. There's nothing to attain. It's about coming into contact with who you are. Now it's kind of going back to your original question to me, which is clever. Who you are is different than maybe who you think you are, and who other people think you should be, and who you think you should be, who you think you were. And so the whole practice is how can we go to the place before your idea, to what you're actually feeling and what's actually happening. So that's practice.
And the 2 words you use is acquire and attain?
There's nothing to achieve.
Achieve and attain.
And there's nothing to attain.
That, I think those 2 things I've been thinking about a lot recently, maybe not in those exact terms, but these expectations we set for ourselves. I think I get a lot of stress actually from going to your yoga practice and like feeling like I have no idea, like you're so fluid in your movement, you're so when you do is it lion's breath, or like when you're sticking your tongue out?
Yeah. We could do it.
I get self-conscious about that. And it's like, why do I feel this way? And I just love that you always re-emphasize there's nothing to achieve and nothing to attain, because like realistically it doesn't matter. It's just I'm there in the moment with all the other people who are there for the similar reasons. And even my wife attended, and we did the meditation circle.
Yeah.
And she had fallen asleep in the middle of it.
Great.
And she herself got a little like self-conscious about that, but you're like, that's exactly what you should do. Like that's there's nothing you should do. But that
right.
is correct.
Don't should on yourself or others. It's rude.
Don't should on yourself. So what is it? There's so many good questions to ask.
I got a lot of time.
What is it that keeps driving you forward in this? Like, why do you return every Saturday and Sunday?
That's a really good question, actually. What day is this? Is today the 5th?
That's
September 5th?
I'm gonna
Maybe.
pretend and say
Let's say
is.
it's September 5th. Well, 2 days ago was the 9th anniversary of the very first outdoor practice that I led outside. And it's sort of funny to think how what is now Indy Community Yoga and all the collaboration that's happening from community members who come together through our practices. It started with a conversation I had with the person who was cutting my hair at Great Clips. It's just like, you know what I'd really like to do? I don't know why yoga costs $20. What if I just like offered a practice outside that was free?
Yeah.
And that anybody could go to. We could be outside. I mean, at that time, I don't think there was any yoga practices or any movement practices that were happening outside. And she's like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Let me talk to my sister. I think she'd be interested. Like, that's how it started. It started as just like, okay, let's just go do that. And then we didn't have another practice until the spring. At that time, I was leading practices, yoga practices and meditation practices at Lilly. It was sort of as a thing to do with my colleagues. Yeah, the next practice was on April Fool's Day 2017, actually, which is that's what I actually consider to be like the anniversary, the birthday of it, because that was the first of consecutive.
That's my grandma's birthday.
Really?
She's an April Fool.
Wow.
Shout out to Pat.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish Pat a happy birthday on April Fool's Day. Yeah, I mean, you ask why I kept doing it, and it was, that first practice on April Fool's Day is like, wow, this is great. Like, why isn't this normal? Why isn't this how it always is? And it was just an experiment. I mean, ICY is still an experiment. We're always...
Well, it's a practice.
Yeah, it is practice. Exactly. Yeah.
I've caught on.
Yeah, it's a practice and it's an experiment. It's not conforming to a particular thing. Although, our practice forms for meditation are traditional. And the way we train folks to lead practices is also in many ways traditional. But I guess and one honest answer is it was what I needed. I needed a place where I could go and just be myself. It's been very clear over the years that other people like that also, and other people find that nourishing. Morning practice for me, which is every day, we have 7 a.m. meditation, 8 a.m. meditation. It's like breakfast for my soul.
And that's online, right?
It's online, yeah. Online and free. Go to our website. But yeah, it's just, we're sitting in the quiet together. No pretending. We're all in our different homes for the online practices. But then we openly talk about what's going on in the world. Right now we're reading Dean Spade's mutual aid book together. And then we have conversation about what's happening in our lives after that. It's just like really nice to be seen.
And to your point about it being sort of an experiment and always ever changing, even the two, I can never remember if it's 2 or 3, and it really doesn't matter, but the 2 that I'm thinking of, practices that I attended were very different. Not only because of the activities that went on, but where I sat that morning, the weather that day, the people that were there and present, but also the third act, if you want to call it that. So we did the movement, and then we did the meditation, and then the first time we did a mindfulness walk where we walked around silently, which was very pleasant, led by Marissa and you.
Yes.
Maybe not led. That's always the question I have. Is it a leader?
We do say practice leader.
Okay.
But, the word leader has been sort of co-opted by exploitative forces to mean boss. But a boss isn't a leader. You're only leading if people are walking with you. If nobody's walking with you, you're just coercing them. And that's a very different thing. That's being a boss. That's not being a leader. Yeah.
So the mindfulness walk, and then the next time we did I forget what you call it, the conversation.
Mindful dialogue.
Mindful dialogue. And we did one-on-one conversation, and that was really interesting. And there's 2 other versions that I haven't experienced yet.
3.
There's 4 total?
4 flavors, yes. We have 4 flavors
I've
of
never-
mindful dialogue practice.
But just being in the moment with the one other person who I painfully do not remember. It might have been the other Anna. There's lots of Annas, I have learned.
A lot of Annas.
Now, I'm actually really glad we're talking today, because next week you're going on the ICY retreat. No, that's in October. Oh, I read the 12th and I was like, that's next week.
October 12th. Go to our website.
Can you share a bit to me about like what it means to be able to partake and provide a full day of, I guess practice is the word, but a full day of yoga?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's mostly not yoga.
Oh, that's true.
It's our retreats are primarily silent, seated and walking meditation practices, yeah, our one-day retreats. What was the question again?
What does it mean to you to be able to provide that space for people, and especially in a full day sort of format, where it's going further beyond what you do on a weekly basis?
Yeah, a lot of what we do has to do with accessibility. And I first encountered retreat practice as a sort of thing that happens far away that you pay a lot of money to attend. So there are a lot of these days sort of professional retreat centers that offer for-fee spiritual retreats, and there are a lot of those around. The other way you can do that sort of thing is the traditional way, which is go to a monastery in Asia. Or there are monasteries in the U.S. that do it also, that offer that sort of thing too. But it's still sort of, again, going away to practice in a very intense experience. Locally here, back in 2018, I began practicing at the Indianapolis Zen Center, and they still offer their day practices once a week, or not once a week, once a month. But I felt that it was important to offer the traditional retreat practices in a way that was maybe less intimidating. Offered a little bit lower barrier to entry, so that there are a lot of people who practice meditation all sorts of ways, but to practice together with 40 other people, and just for everyone who's listening, silent practice means no talking, no reading, no writing, no eye contact. So to practice existing together in that way, without the expectation of being viewed, without the expectation of having to make small talk, without the expectation of looking anyone in the eye, but just existing together in care, eating nice food. This is an experience that is very difficult to find in daily life. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it feels really great to be able to do that. And, our fall retreat is going to be number 23.
23?
It's our 23rd retreat.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And yeah, I mean, it's something that it's offering a traditional practice here in central Indiana. And again, a lot of people find it compelling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I answered your question. I forgot what it is already.
Nothing to achieve and nothing
Nothing to
attain,
achieve,
Tony.
nothing to attain. You've been listening.
And to the point of silent practice, is that what we call it? Silent practice. That is really difficult. It is very difficult because the only time I've done it consciously is with you at the practice on Sunday. And we only...
On
Or
Sunday,
less.
well, we sit for 20, and then we walk for 5 usually, and then sit for another 5.
I'm thinking of when we went on the mindfulness walk. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, on the walk, yeah.
And walking around with people and consciously not looking at their eyes, not looking at any writing on their clothing, there's signage on the trails, avoiding eye contact with that is, first of all, very difficult, but also it's interesting the different processes in your brain that you hit when you're not being berated by the outside world in that way. Like even I'm looking at your shirt right now, which we talked about earlier. Just the word pizza on there is like, it's attacking me. It's in bright colors. And it makes me hungry.
Yeah.
Just like sitting and existing in space with no thing to create thoughts for you other than your own thinking is really interesting, and your eyesight.
Well, yeah, and part of that. So yeah, I mean, I think you just mentioned the voice inside, and the thing is, there's a part of our brain that forms concept. So anytime I say a word, what I'm actually doing is trying to translate what I am experiencing, which is the feelings in my body. And I'm translating it into a word. Now, to do that, I have to make a concept. And the thing about concept is, it's all, at best, it is a reflection of a fragment of reality. It cannot be the whole thing. And, you know, it's really miraculous that I can say anything and you can hear that. Like, I'm flapping my lips and there's like air vibrating and the vibration goes into your ear, and then like you have any clue what I'm experiencing. Like, that's magic, but it's also fraught, because like, if at best it's a reflection of a fragment, at worst it's totally misleading, and it can muddle your own, like, I'll use I pronouns, my own experience of what I'm actually feeling. So the whole practice of silence is, it's an opportunity to disengage that, to just like, you know, we're always like gripping that part of the brain, just allowing it to soften a little bit. Then I have a chance at answering your initial question of, who am I? And what am I doing? What is this? What am I really doing? How am I fooling myself?
Yeah.
Because if I'm fooling myself, I'm definitely fooling you, or trying to. And, you know, who am I when I'm not trying to be what somebody else wants me to be, or who I want me to be? You know, who is that?
Yeah, that's a really interesting framing of using it as self-centering. Tony,
Michael,
what is a third space to you?
what is the third space to me?
Do you know what a third space is?
I first heard that term, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe?
You're ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
sort of.
My brother-in-law taught me that word. He was in a degree program at the School of Philanthropy at, well, the late great IUPUI, now IUI. What is a third space to me? It's a place where people can just, that isn't work, or not work, not job, and it's not home. It's a place where maybe one is free from responsibility. And free from, I want to say free from obligation, but I don't know, I guess a place to relax where there's no expectation to spend money or to produce. and you don't have a boss. No.
But you might have a leader.
I suppose if you want to follow that, if you want to walk with that person, sure, then they're a leader. Somebody wants to follow you, well, then you're a leader. That's why you walk in a circle.
Would you say that your Sunday and Saturday practices, and even the weekly online ones, are third spaces for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Well, thank you for answering.
Yes, you asked me a yes or no question. Yes.
Oh, I didn't write this one down actually, but it's something I've been thinking. It's something I've been thinking about. Is, and you've kind of already answered, but the different framing actually is, what is a third space throughout your life that you once had exists?
A third space I once had. I think one of the things that led to the formation of Indy Community Yoga is the fact that I didn't have one. And that made me very angry. I didn't
subconsciously or consciously.
Initially, I wasn't aware of my anger.
That's kind of what I was.
Because I'm not an angry person. So therefore, I can't possibly feel this can't possibly be anger. There was no space where I could just be angry. And so, practice space became a place where I could come into contact with that. Anger is very scary, and only certain people are allowed to be angry in our current place and time. A lot of people aren't allowed to express anger or displeasure or the fact that they don't like something. Actually, that's one aspect of our practice is it's totally fine to not like things, even things that we do or say, and it's okay to express that. I didn't have one. I'm not even sure as a child. Maybe school is my third space.
I always think school's a good third space.
Yeah.
Personally.
School and the public library. Those are my third spaces. And I love our libraries.
I also think the
here.
answer of you didn't have one is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to have had one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be honest.
Yeah.
And poke at that a little bit. Yeah, I wish libraries were open 24/7 and had food and drink. I'd be there all the time. But,
I think that's an attainable goal. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I hope so. I'll be there. I'll open something.
Actually, I want to retread the ground a little bit.
Okay.
Because I found, again, just back to our initial phone call, our conversation so fascinating about what it means to be religious to you, because you are Buddhist. You identify as Buddhist?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And when I asked you if you consider yourself religious, your response was very interesting to me. And it made me rethink a lot of the things that I think about myself.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting because you talked about in terms of like what it means to be religious or spiritual or whatever word you want to use. Because I was raised Catholic and went to church weekly with my mother and sometimes my father. But I would say as I got to college, I sort of dropped that and shed that. But I still think I carry many, at least in my opinion, truly Catholic values, maybe a sense of guilt too. But this idea of, if you really frame it truly, Jesus was like a loving, caring person. He treated the poor. He wanted to provide health care for people. He wanted to provide food for people and provide space for people and safety and all of these things within that realm of what it means to be Christian or Catholic. So I carry a lot of those values with me, even though I don't practice the act of going to church, like what some might consider being Catholic. But the way you framed it, the way you framed being Buddhist and you practicing Buddhism influenced me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, this is the question of, am I a religious person? Am I a Buddhist? Are questions that I've been grappling with for a long time. And I think it's important to, when we say religious, what do we mean? And I think religious, and those of you listening, I'd be interested in hearing what your own feelings are about that word. It's quite charged. And I think I need to go back to what we recite at the beginning of most of our meditation practices, which is a dialogue between two Chinese monks. The two characters are Zhao Zhou. Zhao Zhou is an 18-year-old kid, novice monk, traveling around, maybe looking for a teacher, maybe not, just kind of, seeking something, I guess. And he encounters this 46-year-old monk called Nenchuan. And Zhao Zhou asks Nenchuan, what is the way? Now, the important thing about the word Dao, which is in Vietnamese it's Dao, in Chinese it's Dao, the way. That word also means religion. So in a sense, he's asking this older monk, what is religion? So I'll just recite the whole thing. One day, Zhao Zhou asked Nenchuan, what is the way? Nenchuan said, ordinary heart is. Zhao Zhou said, may it be pursued or not? Nenchuan said, if you seek it, you'll never find it. Zhao Zhou said, well, if I don't seek it, how can I know about the way? Nenchuan said, the way does not belong to knowing or not knowing. Knowing is fake enlightenment. Not knowing is unremembering. If you sincerely live the way of no pretending, it's just like the sky, wide open, vast emptiness. How can you say yes or no to it? At these words, Zhao Zhou fell awake. Their heart became serene, like the bright moon. So, if you replace the word the way, which is a little bit abstract, right? Way can be whatever. Although here, way, well, if you replace religion, what is religion? Well, ordinary heart is religion. May I seek it or not? May it be pursued or not? Well, if you seek religion, you'll never find it. Well, if I don't seek religion, how can I know? If I don't seek it, how can I know about religion? Religion does not belong to knowing or not knowing. Knowing is fake enlightenment. Not knowing is unremembering. If you truly realize the religion of no pretending, it's just like the sky. Anyway, the kind of long and short of this for me, after reciting it thousands of times now.
I mean, you clearly had that memorized.
Yeah.
Even though I think you read it off your phone when you...
Oh, no, this is my translation. I started with an English translation. I was like, wait, those words aren't quite right. And then I was like, it was a whole research project to actually find the original Chinese. And that, sort of intersects with some personal interests in Vietnamese originally being written with Chinese characters, but then French and Portuguese colonizers came, cut Vietnamese language off from that, and Latinized it. And so it's a sort of, this is all kind of swirling around. But the kind of long and short of this for me is, your religion is the way you live your life. You could say oh, I'm this or that. And, a lot of times people, you mentioned Catholicism. I was like, well, I'm a practicing Catholic. But what is that? What do people usually mean by that?
Oh, you're asking?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
They go to church twice a year for Easter and Christmas.
Yeah, or they go to church every week.
Or that.
And it's just like, okay.
And they attend the Sausage Fest and drink beer.
Yeah, nothing wrong with all that. There's nothing wrong with Sausage Fest. There's nothing wrong with being a community every Sunday. I think that's great. But, you mentioned Jesus as really a person who is in solidarity with everyone, including the most exploited people in that particular Roman colony. And so in what other ways does one express one's religion besides conforming to the rules of your religion in terms of attendance? So I like kind of struggled with my own, like, am I a Buddhist? Because like my version of Buddhism is not really highlighted. Like my version of Buddhism, I'm a heritage Buddhist. Like my Buddhism was transmitted to me first by my mother, and hers was transmitted to her by her paternal grandmother. And it's this sort of indigenous transmission of religion through language and culture and care and ritual at home, married with temple practices. So like religion for me is like, it's not just the scriptural part. It's not just the attendance. It's not institutional. It is, and I came to think of myself, or I came to admit to myself, I guess, that I'm a religious person because I do this thing every day, this ritual of getting up in the morning, sitting, I turn on Zoom, I see friends, I see friendly faces, and we sit and we practice being sincere. And, there are a lot of people, I think, who are considered religious or maybe think of themselves as religious, who then go on to do a lot of harmful things. And I don't know. I hope that, to me, somebody who's religious is one who is coming into contact with their true nature. And I believe our true nature is an original sin. I think our true nature is actually, we do want to care for one another. We want to hold each other. We want to help each other thrive. We want to not harm each other. We want to exist in a sustainable way with the land and the air and the water. We don't want to exploit other people. I don't think that's a natural thing. I don't think being anybody's boss is a natural thing. I think cooperation is a natural thing. If it weren't, it wouldn't feel so good. Like, doesn't it feel good to, like, feed other people?
I think so.
Doesn't it feel good to, like, just hang out with people under trees? Like, doesn't it feel good to, like, work against injustice together and, like, fight exploitation? Like, and to me, like, whatever your religious origins are. I mean, I just happen to be born in a circumstance where, the Dharma gate for me was Buddhism because of my mother and circumstance of my birth. But
What is a Dharma gate?
a Dharma gate.
I'm not informed.
Yeah, this is a Buddhist term, meaning that it's one of the vows. Dharma gates are numberless. I vow to enter them all, meaning that there's no single doorway to truth or understanding your nature. There are lots of different ways to do it, and the right one for you might be different than the right one for me. In fact, it probably is, because we're all coming from different life experiences, and whatever gives you that clarity.
There's a music artist, Tyler Childers.
Okay.
He's from Pikeville, Kentucky. Shout out to Tyler.
Kentucky.
Shout out to Tyler Childers. He just released a new album fairly recently, and I believe he talks about Dharma in one of his songs.
Yeah.
Because I think he did some reading some religious texts, and I think he learned a lot of, because he's from Pikeville, Kentucky. He's probably raised as Baptist or something like that. And I think he learned a lot about, he's becoming more worldly as he grows as an artist and as a person. And I think he brings up that, and he talks about how, I think he says the big man in the sky or something like that, was his Dharma gate. I think he framed it differently. I thought that was funny and interesting. I actually listened to that song on the way here.
Oh, really?
That's why I'm able to recall it so easily.
Well, there you go.
Well, on a lighter, well, it depends on what you consider lighter, actually. On a lighter question, how's your viewing of Love Island going?
Yes, I'm very happy to report that I'm liberated from Love Island. This most recent, it's funny, I think I told you this story, but I hadn't heard of Love Island until I attended.
Listen, you are the last person I would have ever expected to say, I was watching Love Island last night.
I mean, Dharma gates are numberless. Yeah, I heard about it from the Palestinian comedian, Sammy Obaid.
Oh, that's right.
Is that for whatever reason I came up with his show, and I was like, oh, what's that? And my wife and I got hooked on whatever the most recent season of Love Island UK. But I have to say that we got through that season, and then we tried to watch another one. I was like, we're done with this. Like, both of us. It wasn't like we weren't
shirked it off. You're like, this is nothing to me now.
Well, it's just I did find Love Island to be an amazing study of being watched and surveillance, like
in opposition to like what you try to do, or as a different
well, I don't know if I thought of it in comparison or contrast, I mean, with what I do, but I was just sort of, while I'm watching the show, which is really watching these people, I became aware of me watching these people, but also these people being aware that that they are being watched, not just by each other, because I think the way the set is set up is like you can see everything that's going on. You know, they're sleeping in a big room together. Yeah, just like being observed, but also like how the producers sort of set up situations, and just thinking about like how
talk about people with no religion. Producers for for reality television shows are built differently.
I mean, their religion is profit. Okay, I mean that's why capitalism is an ism, right? It's the religion of capital. But yeah, I became aware of that. It sort of made me think about, you know, how we're being observed. I mean, we're being viewed here, and how different that is from being seen, and also the relationship of surveillance to power, but also like the interpersonal conflict. I mean, they're all like, you know, in their 20s, and you know, I don't know about you. I didn't know anything when I was in my 20s.
I still don't.
Yeah, still working on that. But yeah, so I'm the short answer is I'm done with Love Island. Don't need to watch it again.
On the like popcorn side of it, like, did you enjoy the first season of it? Were you just enjoying the process of like absorbing this information?
I was totally transfixed and fascinated by that. I mean, it's entertainment, right? I mean, and I found it entertaining, and I had feelings about being entertained in this way, and like that I liked it because it was like
caught in the web.
Yeah, it's just yeah. Yeah, but anyway, I feel very fortunate that one season was enough.
This is not important to the next question necessarily.
Okay.
But do you travel often?
We used to travel often.
Okay, so you'll have some perspective here,
Okay.
which is helpful. So every episode I ask a question from the previous guest.
Okay.
So last guest was Casey Springer,
Okay.
who runs Indianapolis, or sorry, what does she run? Just Casey Springer. We Walk Indy. We Walk Indy.
Oh, okay.
And her question to you is, what is something that Indianapolis does not have that you feel like it should, either that you've seen somewhere else, or maybe not even somewhere that you've seen, just something that you believe Indianapolis should have, that it does not currently have?
There are so many things I could say here. The first things that come to mind are
Other than a library with 24 hours a day, hours and food.
there's that. I would say cooperative living. It's the way and it's not just Indianapolis. I mean, this is the United States, how the United States was built after the Second World War. It's so isolating.
Can you share a bit more about what you mean when you say cooperative living?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's for example, cooperative housing, which should be instead of having a landlord that is setting up housing with the main objective of profiting for themselves. It would be, for example, an apartment building that's owned by the tenants. Now, this exists in other places.
I think it exists in some places in the U.S. even.
Yes.
Rarely.
Yeah. And it's not a new thing. I mean, even cooperatively owned businesses. I mean, Indy Community Yoga, I mentioned earlier, we're a worker-run cooperative. Mm-hmm. That means there's no owner. So there's no single owner, so boss. We make decisions collectively about how much we all get paid. Yeah, I mean, and really underneath cooperative living, like the structural aspect is democracy.
I didn't mean to kill this bug, but I did. May he rest in peace. And I think I do appreciate your answer. Yeah. I think that type of thing is very difficult for even people like us who are aware that these systems exist already to even conceive of, because it's just not common. And we're sort of, I mean, it's just difficult to visualize what that would look like in our current society, because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. I mean, I guess I would like to add another answer, which is everybody, what Indianapolis does not have is housing for everybody, healthcare for everybody, food for everybody. This is attainable also. If I could wave a magic wand, it would be that, and you could walk to things and not rely on an automobile and oil and gas. The place would be completely reorganized.
We both did drive here.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But what if
victims of the system?
Yeah, what if we didn't have to? So I don't know. It's kind of a bigger thing.
I did see the Monon Trail just over there. Oh, we haven't said where we are. We are at Frederick Douglass Park. Yes. And I did see the Monon Trail on the way over here, and I could have ridden my bike feasibly. Practically, maybe not.
Yeah.
Just a thought. I also did check. I do, just for the people listening, when I go to a place, always check the bus routes. And it's always a little longer than I need it to be in the moment.
Phooey.
Yeah, well, thank you for answering.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the thoughtful
Is there anything else you would like to talk about before we end?
I don't know. How are you doing?
I'm doing really, actually, I've been, thank you for asking. It's very kind of you. I have a job. Did I tell you that?
No.
I got a job.
You did?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Since we first talked and met. So I'm feeling good about that. It's going well. My life is fairly happy. My wife is fairly happy.
Not unrelated.
Not unrelated. Happy wife, happy life. That's the saying.
Yeah.
But I also have felt like a little like I need to do more, whatever that means. And that I've been struggling with that a little bit, which I think is interesting. Just to think about, like, either do I really need to be doing more, or is that just a self, should I be living the ICY motto of nothing to achieve and nothing to attain? If it really, like, there's not, I'm setting that expectation for myself. That's something that I'm thinking on a lot right now. But I do also think that this podcast has a level of impact beyond what I can perceive. And I'd like to raise that a little bit, whatever that means.
Yeah.
That's something I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I'm glad that you have this podcast. It seems that you love to do it.
I enjoy talking to people.
Yeah, you love talking to people. That's a gift of yours.
That's the gift of gab, as they say.
It really is, you know, and that's, yeah, that's, not everybody has that. And not everybody asks such thoughtful questions. And, you know, there's a certain talent that.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. Now, I did allude to this, but you do have to ask the next guest a question. And I'm going to talk to them in a couple hours, so. So you do have to tell me now.
Okay. Oh, shoot.
It does not have to be about yoga. It does not, nothing to achieve and nothing to attain with this question, actually.
Yeah.
Not to poke fun at you.
Yeah. What do I want to ask them? What is their favorite ice cream flavor? Wait, does it have to be about Indianapolis or Third Spaces or anything? Okay. Well, the ice cream flavor question is I could just ask them.
I'm down.
Yeah, there's that. But I like to ask people to paint a picture of their hometown, like, and when they grew up. It might be too personal. I'll let you decide between.
No, I think that's a great question. I'll ask both.
Okay, great.
You get two. Yeah, we're about an hour. Oh, good timing. Well, thank you for joining me, Tony. I really have appreciated it. We putzed around for a really long time before we pushed record, but that's okay. Where can the people find you? Or where can people find ICY?
Yeah, well, you know, you can find
Maybe
me.
you don't want to be found.
You can find me wherever Indy Community Yoga is happening. You can go to our website, indycommunityyoga.org, and you can see our full schedule there, including where our practices are. You can reach me at tony@indycommunityyoga.org. Tony is Tony. That's where you can find me.
And you're very responsive.
Oh, thanks.
Or at least my perception is that you're very responsive. Maybe
Well,
some people don't feel that way.
You know, responsiveness is a sign of interest.
And just to hype him up a little more, not only does Tony lead ICY, but also keep in mind that all ICY practices are free, capital F free. There is nothing you have to give, unless you want to, but nothing you have to give to show up. No personal investment, no fiscal investment. Just show up and enjoy the experience as I have and continue and want to continue to do. So attend an ICY event or practice. And if you do it in the next few weeks, maybe you get to attend a retreat.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for joining me, Tony, on this episode of Third Space Indy. You can find Third Space Indy at Instagram or on Instagram at Third Space Indy and at thirdspaceindy.com. Every episode comes with, at minimum, 1,000-word blog. I write it with my own hands on a keyboard. I record Third Space Indy all over Indianapolis. I really appreciate sharing this episode with you. Third Space Indy intro music done by the local artist, Jennison. Thank you, Jennison, for sharing your music with me so I can share it with the people. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you for listening.
Scared rabbit, is the coast clear? Go grab it, you're gonna starve here. On your bed of death with one regret, what you never said.